and that's Lucian versus Akali. This is going to be a high matchup.
No Renekton.
That's
what?
insane.
Renekton's so good. We just saw the last game. Guy can solo kill 3 times in a row. So
I mean, it was good in that game. So I think that's actually fine.
Do analysis based off results. Only results-based analysis here.
I think if you're ever going to R5 Renekton into an obvious Lucian top, then you're just straight trolling. So I don't think that was ever going to happen.
Yeah.
And this is still going to be a tough matchup for Kiin in the early stages, but I mean, if you get to a point where you're feeling okay, and especially if you get some assistance from the Sett, then the Akali will just walk up to a Lucian in lane and kill him. It's what's going to happen eventually. There we go. Coach Kim.
You know, I don't necessarily agree, but he's definitely up there. We don't have the strongest top lane roster here in LCK compared to some of our other roles.
Yeah, I think our top laners have been fluctuating. I think Rascal's certainly, like you were talking about, pretty underrated here in the LCK, but Nogari is very good. Kiin is another one who is a bit up and down these days. Consistency has come under question a little bit for a man that we've spoken about a lot as being one of our best ever. But certainly hasn't had the performances to really warrant that title so far this season. Really does want to find a little bit more of that consistency. Let's see whether maybe today is the start of that. As we're rushing with some phases a lot here for Afreeca. Both Spirit and Fly picking that one up. Nothing really extra special.
Scorch.
Press the attack Volibear, though. That's the dream.
Press the attack Volibear. The Scorch on Orianna is always interesting because she also scales with the AP not only for her damage, but also her shield.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of different abilities that you have. All 4 of them that scale off of AP, but you instead decide to do the tiniest little bit of chip damage in lane against a ranged opponent. We're not big fans of Scorches here either.
No. Well, Canna hasn't actually played the Lucian top yet, so maybe he'll show us something different.
And Kiin is like the one top laner that I see him pick, like Aurelia, Akali, super aggressive melee champions that aren't fantastic in lane, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You know, I get it. It's you, it's Kiin. Whereas pretty much everybody else, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know about that.
And Teddy also hasn't played Senna yet, which is interesting. Just hasn't been one of his picks. T1, of course, were heading towards things like, all right, bit of a trade towards the bottom side, as Ben is going to soak a lot of that damage with his Aftershock. But yeah, no, Teddy's been more leaning to Xayahs and things like that when the champion pulls a little bit pinched. Not necessarily going towards the Senna. So let's see how he does in this lane. He is going to be the one farming. We now see a few different variations of Senna.
Yeah, he's just going to be farming it out. He's got great range, obviously, which is going to help against Kalista, Nautilus in lane, but also later on in the game. You'll notice that we've got 4 champions that are pretty low on range. Orianna's kind of, you know, she's got decent range, but kind of like mid-level in terms of mid laners. And oh boy,
well, double smites and Spirit. A little bit too late on that one. Sorry, a little bit too early. As Canna is going to shove this minion wave in. By the looks of things, Kiin is going to be pretty comfy with the CS margins. Even able to grab that one with his backflip.
This is part of the reason. He knows how to pilot a lane that is losing.
Oh dear, the bubble comes in. That's a very easy cleanse. Comes out. Clozer already with a bit of a lane advantage. As another dredge line is actually peeled through. Teddy's ignited already. The heal has to be traded. There's now Mystic trying to bounce around this lane. They do have the sustain though. And there is effort with the re-engage. Mystic might have been able to create enough distance, but the exhaust comes forward and he has to flash. Ben is going to die, and Teddy gets revenge instantly from that initial engage.
All 4 summoners in the bottom side blown by Afreeca as they desperately try to kill the Senna, who kept her flash, by the way, on top of everything. And you could see that the trade, it kind of like changed in terms of attitude halfway through, where originally the T1 bottom lane was on the run, trying to get out of there as much as possible. But then probably getting the call from Cuzz that he was coming down, they wanted to go for the re-engage. Kalista had taken a lot of damage, so able to trade that one back. Ben essentially giving his life for the Kalista, as it all starts off with a great hook here, actually, by Ben, but we're able to turn it around because Cuzz was coming down.
And also, Effort was able to position really nicely, making sure that Teddy moved out of danger, threatening the stun there, and just a lot of damage potential after the Aftershock is down. Nautilus actually pretty squishy without his Titan's Wrath and the Aftershock. So punished. We'll see whether that means that T1 can snowball this bottom lane without any added pressure.
And the bottom lane of T1 is really sticky. I mean, getting away from Leona is annoying enough, but you've got roots from Senna at the same time, which are, you know, if you've got a clean shot, you're probably going to hit it if there are no minions in the way and stuff like that. So you can chain a lot of CC together alongside of Volibear, who's incredibly fast and has CC of his own, alongside of damage. It makes for a deadly combo, as we did see down there.
And now you can see Teddy and Effort holding onto this minion wave, as Mystic and Ben not with too many options. As the Sentinels are what Mystic's going to utilize his time for. As Effort just happy to block pierces so that these minions do just fall to the wayside and aren't going to be giving more money over. So somehow it's an 1,000 gold lead, purely based on that early play. And you can see Spirit hasn't been able to utilize the added space that he was given by that gank that Cuzz threw out. Just Volibear farms a bit faster than Sett. He's got some Swifty boots though, so Spirit is booking towards the bottom.
He's going to be going up against double flash Leona Senna though, so it's not going to be an easy gank. And it's what we like to call sinning, you know, trying to force something that's pretty low probability. Obviously, they do have the Nautilus alongside of it, so maybe they can just 100-0 something, but I don't think it's too likely. As you can see, that Teddy and Effort are already playing very safe. And look at Cuzz in the enemy jungle. He's like, well, he's not at red. I have a ward down in the pixel brush there at Raptors.
Clozer looking for fly. He's going to flash in the 1v1. And you can see, based on that health bar, he had to.
He absolutely did. And Cuzz.
Oh, he's level 6. Oh, dear. Okay, so flash on cooldown, but does still have the dissonance in order to speed himself up. Spirit now knows that he has to be here to save his mid laner, who does not want to lose all of this. That's the flash that he picked up, and Facebreaker is going to miss. Haymaker comes in to try and keep Spirit alive. They're trying to take them out underneath the turret, and they haven't even invested the Volibear ultimate yet.
Yeah, and Spirit actually flashed away from that one, which is very confusing. He has no stats right now. He has boots, that's it. So obviously pretty squishy. At least he's got the grit, but trying to make a difference. He's not making too much just yet. I mean, Cuzz has been all over Spirit. He's spotted him the whole way through. He also got the early gank off. Went into the enemy red, took the red, said, oh, Spirit's not here. He's probably bottom side of the map. Stay careful, keeps his bottom lane alive. And then comes over here, wins a trade in the mid lane 2v2, comes over and steals the blue. So the jungle Sett is not going to be feeling too good right now.
You can see Mystic just trying to farm things out. You're exactly right. Spirit is basically out of it for the moment. Wants to get level 6 desperately and does at least do that, but they'll lose the dragon. They have no semblance of control towards the bottom side. As far as advantages, I mean, the biggest one is on the top side of the map, as you'd expect. You know, a Lucian beating an Akali in lane pre-6 certainly was expected. I don't know when the lane is necessarily going to change around, but it may need Kiin to get proactive, try and find himself some advantages elsewhere. Just laning against Lucian is hard, as Effort's going to take a fair bit of damage, but Afreeca just don't really have anything to offer back. I mean, it's double longsword against Eclipse with quite a few points into it now. It's just not going to be a thing.
Yeah. Mid lane so far looking good for Clozer, obviously. We saw a lot of good trades there so far, getting the flash away. I was a little bit surprised that Cuzz didn't go for the double turret dive with the flash down, but I guess if you don't know where Spirit is, that can be a little bit risky. But Volibear has that power, I believe. He's quite strong.
He is an Ohm Wrecker and a bear at the same time, which is pretty scary. Revolver picked up here by Kiin, as he's navigated this lane actually pretty well. Within 10 CS, not going to be too upset about that. But I think it's what Cuzz is doing to the jungle that's the biggest problem here for Afreeca. Effort coming over looking for a bit of a herald play. It's pretty standard stuff at around 10 minutes in. But with their top lane priority and mid lane priority, I have a feeling there's not going to be much that Spirit can do. Although he is still going to head on over and see whether he can do it. Senna spotted underneath her turret as Mystic. Moves on over as well. Kiin does nail the shuriken backflip, but isn't actually going to go in or anything like that. Ben finally turns up, and they are going to disengage. T1 just thinking that it's not worth it. Just kind of jumps over on top of that ward. But as you can see, Kiin is more than happy just to farm out. The mini wave doesn't really want to have too much to do with the Lucian. Hard plays, doing some work.
Yeah, and I like that T1 are not just going all in on a reckless play and saying, okay, fight us, and if we lose, so be it. They're saying, no, we're going to wait until we're safe, until we get control, we push out our lanes, and then we're going to all group in, burst it down, or even rotating up Teddy, which can have mixed results based on how much you give away to the enemy AD carry. As here's an engage.
Yeah, exactly. Effort taken down to about half as the snare does come through from Teddy. But 3-on-3, while Cuzz is just taking the Rift Herald, is exactly what T1 wants. And Spirit gets here just a little bit too late. Does have the Showstopper available. He runs so damn fast, but he's now in between Canna and the Volibear, not where he wants to be. Ben's going to turn up, but the Dawning Shadow just tears him apart. Lucian's going to claim the kill. Kiin also going to go down, and T1 absolutely winning this skirmish. That's a decent Fates call. 4-man Shockwave, but that's a very dead Orianna. Now Mystic's trying to fight 5 people, and that's just going to mean a double kill for the Lucian. That's an ace. 6-0 now as T1 absolutely clap Afreeca.
Yeah, I don't understand what Afreeca were doing. They're like, okay, witness me. Let me run in there. Like, especially Spirit, who opened that one up. Definitely a player that I would describe as reckless, and certainly not the actual. Yeah, he's pro, not the pro player. The adjective, God. But yeah, here it's like, okay, because he's a bear, he's ahead of you. He has flash, and he has a Senna behind him. He's never gonna die. Able to flash the wall, he beats and Kiin with him. And then Afreeca are like, you know what? Let's just get in there and see what we can do. They're like, oh, I've got Shockwave. Yeah, let's fight it. Why? Like,
Mystic flashing there was the most funny part. He's like, I've got a hurricane. It's time for me to rend.
Yeah, like maybe they thought, oh, there's no way we can get away. But I guarantee that at least one of them would have gotten away if they had ran, which would have had better results because you wouldn't have blown flashes and stuff like that. So, yeah. With that one fell swoop, we have a 3-0-2 Canna, who has Blade of the Rune King and a Hex Drinker. This guy's going to be untouchable against the lack of range already that we mentioned out of Afreeca. Plus a lane that's going to be really easy for him from here on out, especially because of itemization. This one's looking pretty done already, Atlas. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you do know. I think you
yeah,
just said it.
I do.
Yeah, I am having similar feelings, my friend. As T1 looking for even more here towards the bottom side. Blade of the Rune King not done yet. For Mystic, we're already stacking up the Man Immune on Teddy. Clozer doesn't have Flash, but he does have his Luden's Echo complete. It was a little bit quiet in that last team fight, but he was where he needed to be, and that's what this new mid laner has been all about. It's rotating correctly, getting things done, and then finding a few solo kills so far in round 2. 6 to be exact, most in the league for this round of play. And Shelly's going to park herself in the mid lane. I don't know whether she's going to be able to get the plates. We got 5 seconds. Oh yeah, she's all too easy. And T1 only yet further extend their gold lead. 4.5k at 14 minutes is no joke, by the way, guys. And yeah, Canna has a huge lead. Oh my god.
Fly is the closest person to anyone, and he's down 1,200 gold on Canna. And
he did land a decent shockwave. It was on 3, I thought it was on 4, but missed Canna. But
Yeah.
this stage of the game, I mean, just doesn't do very much as Effort looks for the Solar Flare, finds the slow, but not actually the majority of the damage. Oh, what? My God, what? Dawning Shadow does so much damage if you hit it. We just don't get to see that many of them hit in the sweet spot. My God, Mystic just evaporated.
I think Zoe was also bouncing around in there at the same time, so probably like couldn't get a paddle star, but it was probably more sparkles plus hopping in the passive auto, and definitely just a huge amount of burst damage though, and it really highlights how far ahead they are at this point.
Yep. Teddy, 100% kill contribution thus far. Certainly looking good on his first Senna game. Surprising that it's his first one.
We are on pace for a perfect game, by the way.
Ooh.
No plates, no Rift Heralds, no anything right now for Afreeca. No kills, obviously.
I do like the perfect games, as Mystic is able to cleanse this, but unfortunately, because of the bubble landing like you were talking about.
Oh,
the Ludens proc.
Yeah.
But still, Dawning Shadow did so much damage.
It
I
did.
swear we don't see it.
So, getting a look in, that was a perfect bubble. Yeah, not even sure if he was in range to get the auto, actually. So, it wasn't even Zoe bouncing around. It was Dawning Shadows plus just Ludens. As, obviously, Kalista.
I think it was a more Sparkles proc?
Maybe?
Yeah.
On top of it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well,
Still.
Kalista not very tanky, so just gets bopped immediately.
Flattened, unfortunately. And now Kiin finds himself 1v9 yet again. He is very used to this. It's not like it's a different scenario than the majority of other games. However, still bad news for Afreeca. We're now at 16.5 minutes, staring, like you were saying, down the barrel of a perfect game. And it's just not looking like it's getting better either, Valdez. Like, where are the comeback mechanics for Afreeca? I don't think there really are any, unless Spirit finds the perfect engage. They've got a lot of CC, but at the moment, they have absolutely no damage whatsoever.
Yeah.
Spirit's still like, I mean, yeah, Canna took a turret shot or two, but Cuzz wanders in, wanders out.
That gank
No
is
harm, no
so
foul.
free, by the way. Like, Volibear is pretty insane with Nimbus Cloak because you can just go in and smite one person and you become insanely fast to the point of, like, you can overcommit underneath the enemy turret and still be out of there no problem.
Well, Ben engaged onto Effort, and the Dawning Shadow and plus Clozer is going to be a lot of damage there. Clozer goes golden with his stopwatch. Kiin exhausted for a moment, but he's going to look for the Zoe and will find him with that flash and the perfect execution. Now Mystic's flashing also. He's safe for the minute, as now Canna's trying to fight this one back. It is 1-for-1 as the dust settles, but you'll take a mid laner over a support, and Afreeca still looking for a reset. As Cuzz now wants to punish Spirit one more time. Not going to get that shield or the damage, as this set is just a little bit too fast. But good fight back there for Afreeca, trading 1-for-1, definitely high value, and that's what happens sometimes when Kiin gets involved.
Yeah, I was about to say before this all opened up that, you know, Kiin is the one person who can really do some crazy things, and he's kind of the one that spares the blushes of his jungler in mid lane a lot of the time. As this was just a little bit, you know, nobody can save this one. As Ben making a little bit of a mistake, but a really nice shockwave plus Kiin getting in there. And waits for his moment, flashes, R2 gets in there, picks up the kill. Very nice. Cuzz overextending a little bit, but he's Volibear, so he's able to get out. And all in all, just amounts to a 1-for-1, but you're giving Kiin a kill, and he finishes that Gunblade with his, you know, originally stunted build with the arm guard. As
a sexy sidestep, but this is going to be a lot of damage. Yeah. All right. Clozer does some damage with his double pen, as well as the Ludens. Now, if he was to be a true scholar, he would build Rabbids. But I don't know whether he will be.
do it.
They're from the...
Orma dies, but he doesn't have a Dark Seal.
He needed that. Maybe he's not at that confidence level just yet. As here's the engage from Afreeca one more time, but Effort's just happy to be engaged on. As you know, Zenith Blade comes in and now Fly's getting culled. Great knock-up from Ben to make sure that they can't get too much done there, but Canna just over the wall, still able to get the double tap. However, Senna is dead. Cuzz has been taken down, and now Kiin running rampant. Perfect execution is going to land, but Canna just eats him up. This Lucian is gigantic, and Afreeca don't even really realize. As Clozer throws out a bubble, but isn't actually able to take too much more. Cloud Drake is going to be the reward, as Canna is looking to take down an inner turret, and I just don't think Afreeca can walk up to the Lucian. He's too scary.
Yeah, the only reason they were able to win that one is because Spirit got the awesome flank behind Teddy, and they just CC'd him down from 100 to 0, essentially. So you take away the Senna damage, as originally it kind of looked like an engaged bait, which does work out. This is another great shockwave using Spirit to help out. They take out 2 people immediately, but then Kiin is like, oh yeah, you know, I've got my gunblade. I'm pretty strong. I could probably not. Oh, let me take a look. Let me hit tab. Oh, he's 5-0.
Oh wait.
With 2.5 items at 19 minutes. Oh, okay. Well,
And he's 15 CS ahead of me.
yeah.
Maybe he just saw the 700 gold and was like, I want that, please.
Yeah, maybe.
As, yeah, that's a lot of damage dealt by Canna and Clozer. So weird seeing this list, right? And like Canna and Clozer, the 2 rookies of T1, way out in front. Fly, to his credit, certainly found 3 pretty decent shockwaves so far this game.
He's been doing well. It's, I think that the enemy has been lining up a little bit for them, but I mean, he's hitting them, and he's been very consistent. So
Yeah.
really got to hand it to him.
Oh my god, the damage distribution, pretty impressive here for our 2 solo laners of T1. That's what happens when you put Teddy on Senna, by the way, so
Yeah.
don't be scoffing. But Afreeca, I mean, I don't know what they're supposed to do this game. It's over 6,000 gold, the lead. And they're just looking good.
Nobody can really step in a lane against this Lucian right now, who is also a level ahead of all the other solo laners.
Shockwave to be used just on Cuzz. Thought they had an opportunity there, but now it's going to be on cooldown. And T1, you can see already moving into the jungle, getting down all of the vision, sweeping out what Afreeca had available to them. There's not going to be too much that they need to worry about now that that ball doesn't have a hula hoop around it, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's relatively low cooldown, but generally for the time being, you can get out there, get aggressive. They're very far ahead at this point, about 6,000 gold. And this is something that I want T1 to work on a bit. You know, they get ahead pretty easily most of the time, but then sometimes they just do silly things against weaker teams. And I think they can just from here play it out very cleanly. They're not going to get the perfect game, by the way, guys. They lost 4 kills and the Cloud Drake, but it doesn't matter. But just close it out cleanly from here because you need to have clean play against the top of the table.
Especially against Darmod. I don't know whether you need to play that clean against DRX. I don't know what the recipe is. That team is an enigma at the best of times. We'll see how they're going to be performing this week. I believe they will play tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
DRX?
DRX playing tomorrow?
Yes, against Hanwha Life Esports.
Right, well, that one's going to give us a lot of information, guys. Canna here cleaning up the inner turret on the bottom side. No, I'm saying, like, information about standings.
Yes,
because
true.
Hanwha Life are definitely not getting into playoffs, and DRX are already there, so there's not a lot of information gleaned.
Very true.
And whether or not a top team can beat a bottom team, unless Hanwha win, that's going to give us a lot of information, but it's not likely. And it's not something that we should expect from Hanwha.
Now Lucian has 3.5 items. 23 minutes and a half.
Oh god, did you just go back and build a full Essence Reaver?
I think so.
Jeez, that's a lot of damage.
I don't think he had anything else in his inventory. We do see a Morellonomicon.
I just want to say, like, top Lucian is just so good, right?
Yeah? Okay. Sure. Yeah.
He's got a lot of... See how much gold you get if you play top Lucian?
Wow. Everybody should play top Lucian.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna
top Lucian.
I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna play top Lucian. That's what I'm doing. That's my night sorted.
That should go very well for you.
Yeah, I reckon it will. Deadman's plate picked up by Cuzz just so he can go super fast. Spirit doesn't have his yet, but he doesn't have the luxury of money this game. And he's also 2 levels behind. Everything going pretty poorly here for Afreeca, especially when it comes to that jungle matchup. I think Cuzz has had a fantastic game here today. But I think it's just incredibly rude to not ban Volibear against Cuzz. He's like, what, 6-0 on the champion? 5-0?
Yeah.
It's like almost his most played.
They banned Aphelios. And, you know...
Yeah, it is his most played, even with Sett, but it's
yeah.
his most played.
And Aphelios isn't, like, garbage tier now. I mean, he's still decent, but, like, really? Ahead of Volibear? That just doesn't make any sense, to be honest.
Yeah, that's
so,
very, very strange.
Hopefully they can right their wrongs in Game 2.
Might be some, I don't know, scrim information that we're not getting. Of course, you know, if this this game didn't result in an ace at like 7 minutes, then maybe things would be different, as Miskit is going to cleanse himself out of that Solar Flare. But even so, right, like, comp-wise, Kiin picked the Akali into the Lucian. They knew that they were going to have a weak topside matchup. They knew that Cuzz was going to have the run of the map, and yet they still fell into this trap around the Rift Herald that they probably should have known. They didn't really have too much of a right to take, as Morellonomicons completed on both mid laners, both of them sitting out of their minds.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Teddy exists. He's got a bit of sustain for his team.
I just really realized it's Morello versus Morello.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, there's a lot more healing on the side of T1.
I think Fly's allowed to build it because of Piercing Darkness being so valuable and Volibear existing, right?
Yeah,
but
eventually Lucian. I mean, he's already got some, but he might even get some more later on. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting item for the Zoe, but I think Clozer has done this before.
He has. I mean, if they're planning on winning the game now, then I guess, you know, this is something that we talk about a lot, which is slot efficiency and stat efficiency, and how much can I get with the gold that I have right now in order to win a team fight. But look, they're not really fighting for anything right now, so he probably could have waited.
They could probably just run a Baron, to be honest, but they're playing the...
Oh, that's the flash out from Spirit, and a very necessary one as well, as the Solar Flare leaves a bit to be desired. Now Ben has to flash also Dawning Shadow. Not going to get that damage like we witnessed earlier, but will be shielding up the entirety of T1. And they get a flash out of Spirit, and a flash out of Ben, and T1 think that that's good enough to go over towards this Baron because they know that they can tear it apart so quickly. Teddy's over here as well. I mean, it's not like they sacrifice health bars for it. And Afreeca, can they actually get in here to try and cause something as Kiin? He's teleported in. The home guard is going to be there as well. Shuriken backflip comes down, but oh my god, they're tearing him apart. The flash shield of Daybreak, but it's not enough as Kiin gets himself out with the flash. So they do disengage from the Baron. They lose the entire health bar of their top laner and both of his summoner spells.
Yeah. You know, you get value doing that. It might look a little bit silly to just lose all the Baron damage that you had, but as you mentioned, there's a lot of value out of getting the flash away and zoning Kiin out of the fight. You know, he's not going to be able to follow up here. You can look for more picks the next time around, as they are. Yep. And they're just in so much control that they kind of can play around this way.
I mean, Cuzz sacrifices a lot of his health bar. I don't think he's got Warmocks yet because, of course, he invested into the Deadman. So, yeah, doesn't actually have that available. So they're going to go for a reset now as they've exhausted a lot of their vision. Zoe does still have a control ward here. But, I mean, it's a bit of milling about. Maybe an opportunity for Afreeca, as their comp isn't necessarily a scaling comp, right? But T1's isn't either. Senna, you could say, infinitely scales. But, they don't really have... I mean, they do have a front line, but it's relatively short range, and Akali should be able to get into the back line and avoid the burly ones. As Fly's AoE is going to be very, very powerful as the game continues. But however, it still feels like T1 are too far ahead.
Yeah, we're kind of in that spot where T1 they're going back to their old kind of habits, which are not bad habits. They're just the way that T1 likes to play, which is extremely safe, making zero mistakes, trying to make sure that they end this one out as cleanly as possible.
Yep.
It's a little bit different from teams like Diamond and DRX that kind of just throw caution in the wind. As here we go.
Yep, there's the Zenith Blade. Oh dear, Ben is going to eat the whole culling and just get popped. Goodbye, Spirit. That should be at least the Cloud Soul, but it may just be Baron first, as Spirit was the jungler, so no one's going to be smiting anything. And T1, they can just take whatever they want. And I feel like they have been able to since 7 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and they're going to try to kill Mystic here, actually.
Yeah, well, Mystic's going to flash. There is a control ward there. Fly moves on over as well, looking to try and protect his AD carry, but as you can see, Teddy here in the mid lane is going to move the minion wave out. The rest of T1 will be taking down this Baron, and with the Lucian there, they have easily enough DPS to do so. Kiin, he's down towards the Drake, as Afreeca are at least trying to trade that one back. The Baron is going to be taken with 2 members of T1. The rest are going to move on over and see whether they can stop this one from happening. Cuzz is booking it towards this area. Shuriken backflip lands. Kiin wanted to use it as a taxi. He has perfect execution available, and the bubble is going to connect. Dawning Shadow, a lot of damage. Ben explodes as well. It is going to be the Cloud Drake stolen away, but a double kill instantly occurs afterwards for the Volibear. It's another one going over to Clozer, and that will be the ace. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is probably going to be the game.
Yep, that will do it. They're going to push down mid lane and take game number 1. As we're going to take a look at a replay as they are doing it. This is how Ben loses his entire health bar to 1 Lucian. I believe he's also in Stoneplate, by the way, so literally 0 that he could do at that moment in time, and here's the push.
Yep, this should just be the game. I mean, Ben's going to respawn, but we saw he's made of butter, guys. He's just not the big daddy that we expect. From the Nautilus, he's being shredded down. There's the showstopper, but the show's over, Spirit. I'm sorry. You're going to have to go home. Not yet. You've got another game to play, at least, but the Nexus doesn't. It's going to fall. Fly, you might need to pay attention to the culling, even though you're on your fountain. It's still not safe here on Summoner's Rift, as